assignment in the Bahamas, following a group of Southeast Asians. They're undercover as tourists, but I'm onto them. Working on something really big, I can feel it. I follow them into a tourist souvenir shop, obviously a front. One of them signals. I get distracted by a shiny knick-knack and lose them. They turn up at a beach resort, again fronting as tourists. I followed them over to the water. I decided to do some recon work in the surf, but when I surfaced, they disappeared. No doubt they've gone deeper underground. Stay tuned to see how this whole thing unravels. When walking down the street, you don't run into anyone in your path, do you? Or do you navigate a safe path around other people, and when necessary, stop? You do this while walking, but why not while driving? This PSA was brought to you by the folks at Pop Cuisine. This week on Pop Cuisine's appetizer segment is Nikia Lowe.
We say no last name!
In the spring of 2009, two friends got together and created a new show, one that debuted to high ratings and was well received. That show is Pop Cuisine, and this is their true Charlotte story. Over the next couple of months, Richard and Nikia strived to keep the show at the top of the ratings. Then came a minor setback. Richard was temporarily restricted from producing a show on public access. Then Nikia picked up right where they had left off. Here is an interview early on in the show's production. How did you get involved with Pop Cuisine?
Well, initially, Richard came to me, and we've been talking about doing a show on public access for a couple of years, and we just hadn't gotten around to it. Different schedules, different things going on, and so finally, we were able to kind of get it together and figure out what we wanted to do, and we just went from there.
What do you find was the most difficult part about being a part of the show?
Well, it is a lot of work. People are like, oh, it's just public access or whatever, but really, you still have to do stuff, and by you not having a lot of ready in place, backing and stuff, literally we end up doing what we do, do everything, So there's a lot of work involved with that. Not only do we do all the production stuff, the writing, and Richard edits, and so there's a lot of it, and even though I actually did go to school for TV and radio, film production, and all that stuff, there's still a lot of work involved.
Do you think by being on Pop Cuisine, this will help you find a paying job in your field?
I would like to think so. I hope so, but you never know what the future holds, really. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but also want to keep all of my options open.
How has fame changed you?
I'll let you know when I get it. Yeah, not really famous. No one other than my friends, has really said anything to me about the show. So hopefully, once we get it going and get, our viewers up and everything, I definitely don't expect people to run up to me in a grocery store and ask me for an autograph, But it would be nice to have, maybe have one, somebody say, hey, I watched your show. That would be kind of cool. So.
How do you hope the show will be remembered, its legacy?
I don't know. I think for me, I would just, want people to think of it as just kind of a fun show that's funny, informative. I know it's not really specific, but like I, I don't think we take ourselves too seriously, but at the same time, I want people to get something out of it. Like, I don't know. The biggest thing for me is laugh at yourself. It helps.
The road didn't stay smooth for long. Another challenge arose. Nakia was going back to work. This added another dimension to their already hectic schedule. Will the show survive? Outside of pop cuisine, Richard's dream of becoming an actor are well documented, as seen in this interview.
Okay. So, did you ever think you'd make it to TV?
Honestly, when I first started out, I never thought I'd make it to TV. I always dreamed of starting out in television and kind of working my way up the entertainment ladder and eventually moving on to movies and, maybe writing my own stuff and producing my own films and stuff. So, but starting out, I never thought I'd make it in television.
And how has starting a show on Access 21 affected your social life so far?
Well, I started the show after I'd already been and still am in a committed relationship, and so since the show hasn't really taken off yet, I don't get noticed. I don't have a lot, random people coming up to me and proposition me or anything. So it's been the same. So no complaints.
And if you could have any guest star on the show, who would it be and why?
When you do a show like this, growing up, you look up to people. You look up to a lot of different heroes and idols, and so of course, the usual suspects come to the top of the list, like Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, and of course, Johnny Depp is a huge hero of mine. So you really look forward to kind of getting those opportunities to talk to those people.
And let's see, where do you see yourself in relation to pop cuisine in 3 to 5 years?
I'm really torn. As an actor, primarily, usually in acting, you grow with the part, you learn with the part, you do it, and then you move on. But as a show like this, it's kind of the opposite. It's kind of like a baby. It grows, you grow. The show matures and gets better, and so do you. And so you kind of grow with it, and it's kind of like a long haul kind of thing. So I'm really torn. I mean, one part of me really wants to stay with the show and have it grow. And then the other part of me is like, oh, well, should I move on? But I'm really trying to work on both and trying to have them coexist.
And finally, what kind of advice would you have for people wanting to start up a show?
Starting up a show like this is a lot of hard work. You definitely have to kind of get familiar with, the sources and information, and definitely go to some classes and talk to people who've done it before, and surround yourself with people who are just as dedicated and hardworking as you are, and it's just a lot of work goes into it. And once you kind of establish yourself, it definitely gets easier, and so you definitely be able to relax and have more fun.
Although the future of the show is uncertain, this is one show that we love being along for the ride. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Pop Cuisine. We're here today at the Sedgefield Neighborhood Park